social justice and reconciliation, international relationships, and interreligious bridge building. South African cleric and anti-apartheid activist Alan will serve as the center's first director. The presidents of Butler University and Christian Theological Seminary say that neighboring schools are currently exploring several opportunities to collaborate academically. The announcement of the new center was made at Butler's Cruise Hall in front of a sold-out crowd of 2,100 people. The Archbishop Emeritus was on hand for the honor and spoke to the crowd.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We gonna try to Welcome to the Outspoken and Out Open poetry event. I want to thank all of you for being here. I know it's a pretty gloomy and rainy day outside, but we appreciate your attendance nonetheless. First off, I want to start off by thanking the Desmond Tutu Center for Peace, Reconciliation, Global Justice at the Butler University and Christian Theological Seminary. So go ahead and round of applause for the Desmond Tutu Center. If you're interested in other DTC programs, please visit www.desmondtutucenter.org to sign up for a newsletter. And actually, that is out in the lobby, so as soon as you exit, you can sign up for the newsletter there. I urge you to do so. You can like their Facebook page, the Desmond Tutu Center. That is all one word, the Desmond Tutu Center. Talk about them on Twitter, hashtag DTC Talks. So if you have a mobile device, tablet, pager, two-way. Some of you might have an old rotary phone. That's okay too. That might work. Remember, the hashtag is DTC Talks. Before I introduce our first performer, I would like to mention that one of our performers, Rabbi Brett, had an unfortunate injury. He had a slight concussion, and so we're going to ask that you please pray for his speedy recovery. All right. First performer of the evening, very good friend of mine, Matt Davis, loves connecting with people through art on a level that is direct and open as possible. Performance art has always been a medium that helps them speak out to realities that all kinds of people can face but do not have the outlet to speak about. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to our first performer, Matt Davis.
Hello, hello. What's going on? So it is kind of rainy, gloomy out there. I know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling warm. Y'all feeling all right? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt. I'm a local artist, educator, entrepreneurial guy. You kind of see me around doing my thing. So if you never knew, those are kind of my three labels or whatever, So I do a lot of stuff in the art scene here in Indianapolis. One thing I do is this open mic creative hub called Locomotion. Make some noise if you ever been in Locomotion. Anybody? There we go, a few people. So I've been going to this spot. I've been doing this spot, and I get really inspired by the artistry of other artists. Just like tonight, you're going to see some fantastic work. So I put together this little, I'm going to start off with like the little ditty, I like to call it. I like rhyme in my work, but I normally don't use as much, right? But there was all these like rappers and poets who were coming by. Again, it's a completely open mic. You can come play the spoons, for God's sakes. You can do whatever, right? So, I was inspired by their work. And so it's kind of a piece about what I like to promote, something called scene support. So, you have tons of artists, you have tons of people doing their thing, but that doesn't mean that we're intentionally supporting one another, right? It doesn't mean that we're really trying to cultivate a scene. So we can have, individual artists doing individual things. It's like, oh, my career is pushing forward, I'm a creative, I'm an artist. That's great. But if we're not getting it together, trying to create some kind of infrastructure, then almost, what are we actually doing? So that's what this piece is about. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of light, whatever. So, and then I got another one for you, and I'll get out of your way. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so I guess I'll start there. Talent and passion in tandem, the way of clock gears. Many have gifts, but the most creative defy fear. Young artists wasting fuel on interviews and op-eds instead of trying to improve on what they do when that high from attention's not there. But fret not, for the work ethic is not dead. Artistry still exists, it's just often not in the top 10. Creative juices start to pool when they get locked in. Careful what some assume, your ego can have you lost in your head, searching for where your heart is. If you walk on what they talk, so I'm tracking data by paw print clues for those who choose to follow suit and evolve it. Dreams are mainstream, we bust moves in the margins. I observing the factors, identifying the fractions, all the while in reflection on how to leverage my targets. Opening portals where words are received and spoken. Divine recordings, like I TiVoed something that God said. An oasis and desert that's full of vultures, starving for more exposure, doubled over the carcass. Steadily seeking healing beacons, specific for reaching those who aren't tall yet next in line for the torch grip. Stay on my own beat, mashing black keys for Chopin. Harmony is what's important. I never do this for show, man. This here is for scene supporters, familiar faces and nomads. The people feeding off the simple freedoms of no fame. Each clicks and rigor mortis and all the folks who thought they were hot, now fueling one flame. Merger of one lane that yields to the skill of the Builders Guild who conjure up cornerstones and never constructing creation. Boat leg of modern muddy waters. This time residing in Midwest, the Chitlin Circuit, open subculture focused on progress. Repeats the scene like we're painting with mosaic tiles. Art ain't another way out, it's more a lifestyle. The way it used to be. When every etch-a-sketch stroke was a neoclassical masterpiece. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate that. So yeah, I just wanted to do that quick one. I always like that, just to promote that idea of scene support. I mean, it's so much talent in Indianapolis, so much this, so much that. But I feel like if we ever came together and intentionally worked together, I think we could really make something happen. So this next piece, I really like the theme of this event, especially in the vein of the larger work that's going on at the Tutu Center. I see a lot of people in the crowd, a lot of people in the audience that I know who, from community work, who are really steeped in this whole piece and justice work. So it's good to see people who are actually doing the work in the audience as well. Definitely. I was gonna call some people out, but I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. Let's see. I want to do this piece, because Outspoken and, the whole spoken word movement that's happening and, slam culture taking off, and a lot of these artists are coming out of that, and we're all kind of, riding this wave. And this piece is kind of about my evolution as an artist. I actually didn't start off with words. I actually started off as a visual artist. So, things shift and turn and adapt and, evolve. So this is kind of my evolution. I've been outspoken for a while. Wasn't always talking. So this is that evolution, and I hope you enjoy it. Oh, okay, just real quick. It starts off with this, I've always been creative or whatever, and, I went to IPS schools, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So in second grade, I would go in my zone when I was bored, And so my teacher called it Matthew Land, right? They were like, parent-teacher conference, they're like, yeah, Matthew's great. I mean, but, sometimes he goes to Matthew Land. And that was like they was trying to put me on drugs. Anyway. Not having it. All right. My second grade teacher used to say in English class that I would drift away to a place that was far away from the seventh seat in the second row called Matthew Land. Doodling on the back of college drill notebooks during last period was a spiritual experience. Number 2 graphite outlines, the ink pen definition gave me purpose and perseverance to turn my pain into masterpiece. and artiste since 3. Everything was art, and art was everything. Drawing was a focus practice that immortalized my moments with God and captured the truest expression of my intent in ways that only make sense to the unknown realms of my gift. Then I began to further form an image, spazzing on white canvas like an 8-year-old ancient spirit. Creativity was limitless because the tip of my pencil was tapped into the infinite. Sketchpad sheets were prayer beads, a medium for deep meditation, a portal to other planes, a valve release from the pressure from the plight of 25th Street. Renderings of redefined realities lied inside my high school portfolio, divinely designed to open minds and touch souls. Dreams of me on my way to be something like the hood version of Jean-Michel Basquiat 2.0, East Side, 2.5's Michelangelo. Then I saw past the fog of galleries and greatness and was exposed to a bougie art world full of politics and games with white wine, white walls, white eyes, and white frames. Couldn't quite see myself in it, so I shifted. Artist statements for pieces became poetry and speeches. I splatter-painted words and notebooks with the intuition of mother wit and the implicit imagery. Ideas and images came easily like sweet songs and sat on my heart and mind till it and all of my other artistry harmonized. I felt like a young sun god. I used to solar power poems. I brought a vibrant beam to the poetry seems dark and illuminated the power in other young stars' hearts. Those stanzas helped me understand who I is and who I ain't, who I was and will be, and the compass on what I can and what I can't, to move to the music of my beat. See, I've always been what does this mean kind of kid. Pick apart the underpinnings of everything and piece together my own picture, because see, talent and potential are nebulous. But each passion is a planet that's held in orbit by my patterns and my habits, and sometimes that gets hard to manage, so when life gets rough, I become a sponge and soak up all those creative juices that I had when I was young. My artistry was at its best, without attention or the audience. Just me at 15, up late nights, possessed by the energy of my first piece. I was garbage. Didn't matter, because it was the greatest feeling to be dialed into my life's vibration. Expressing frequencies of inner peace on composition pages, broadcasted to the purest parts of my imagination, and it's the honesty in those moments that I still use as a constant source of inspiration to stay in touch with the patterns of my passions, the creative forces of my nature. I appreciate that, y'all. I just want to say one more thing before I get off. If you're here in town, I know a lot of people came in for this. Every second Saturday, we do a open mic and creative space called Locomotion. You can come do whatever. You can play spoons, spit fire. We got a fire hazard thing, but come share your talent. Singers, rappers, dancers, poets, all kinds of people. So yeah, you can catch me there. Apologize, had a little frog in my throat. Hey, I hope it gave me a little charm. Thanks.
One more round of applause for Matt Davis. Matt, have y'all actually had anybody show up and spit flames? At all? Not yet?
I mean, people come with fire, definitely.
Oh, I appreciate that. That was awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our second performer of the evening, Amina Janenovich, performs on her high school poetry slam team, Tribe Called West, and made it to the top 4 in the Louder Than a Bomb poetry competition. She hopes to inspire young Muslim girls to have a strong voice and positive presence in America. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a round of applause.
Hey guys, so my name is Amina Janenovich. I'm a part of my high school's poetry slam team, Tribe Called West. And this piece I wrote for my dad. He actually escaped the Bosnian War in 1995. A lot of people, when I tell them I'm from Bosnia, they don't even know where that is. So I think it's really important, especially as a young poet, to talk about issues that not many people know about. Jednom kad do kraja puta dođeš ti, shvatit ćeš da sve je laž. Ostaćeš sam i Asobom biche samora. This Bosnian lullaby translates to: when you think that you have reached the end, you'll realize that everything was a lie. You'll be lost and alone, and the only one with you is yourself and God. My father sang this song to me, and now I sing it to you so you will never forget Srebrenica. 8,000 innocent Muslim men died in the massacre of Srebrenica. My father survived. I am here because he wasn't one of them. July 12, 1995. UN Dutch peacekeepers handed the town of Srebrenica over to the Serb army. Serb troops forced Bosnians into two lines, one for the men and one for the women. My father hid in a bush. He couldn't bring himself to go into either. He was a son looking for his babo. He was a brother looking for his brat. He was an uncle watching a grenade explode his nephew. He never knew it could do such damage. And then he couldn't unknow it. He saw his father and brother beaten by Serb soldiers, and he will never unknow it. Women from his village grabbed him out of the bush, covered him with blankets, concealed him on a bus, told him, "Shuti, biće spašen. Stay quiet, you'll soon be safe." I am here to save the memory of those men who women could not hide under blankets. 8,000 innocent Muslim men died in the massacre of Srebrenica. Let me show you 8,000 skeletons. I want you to see 8,000 dead men scattered across the countryside, twisted clothing and body parts, a stew of bones and dirt. The mass grave at Tomashica is 5,000 square meters and 10 meters deep. A football field, a swimming pool of innocent men, hands tied, blindfolded and shot dead. Bullets became lullabies that put 8,000 innocent Muslim men to sleep. So I sing for my father. I sing for the men who were not saved. I sing to teach you one word so that you will never forget Srebrenica. Srebrenica. Jednom kad do kraja puta dođeš ti, shvatit ćeš da sve je laž. Ostat ćeš sam i napušten, a s tobom bit će samora. Thank you.
Am I the only person that gets like really impressed by people who come up here and they seem so like, not meek, that's not the word I'm looking for, soft. And they speak so soft. And then when they perform, it's like they fill up the entire room. And it's like really big and it's loud, right? Yeah. Yeah. The trip is when they go from being so loud and so vibrant and they go back to, thank you. It's like, what just happened to the thunderstorm that just came by? That was awesome. That was awesome. Next up, we have Miss Ray Kareem. She is a poet and graduate of the Christian Theological Seminary. And she has big dreams. She plans to work with young people and getting them to talking around the country and about healing and transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Ray Kareem.
So, since this is Outspoken, Out Open, do you all mind if I get comfortable? Yes. Okay. I like them, and it's not that they're uncomfortable. I just said, why not? Like, it's Outspoken, Out Open, right? Will you all join me in this beginning part of this piece? Yes, no, maybe? Yes. So you're just gonna clap for a little bit, and when you see me do this, that means stop, okay? You ready? Don't speed it up, you gotta keep the beat. I don't need you to validate me. I don't need you to make me feel like I am anything. Because I know I am worth everything, as I am an heir of the Queen, not of England, but the Queen. Yes, I just publicly refer to God as she, and it may just show up on every social media outlet there is. And that's cool. Somebody needs to say so. Somebody needs to know that God ain't always got to be referred to in male form. I digress. Though my selling points may not be in the barely 8 cups of tea from behind the boot, still I shine, because it's in my name, sun ray. Given to me not by happenstance sake, but because somebody saw in me what I didn't even recognize in myself, light. Emitting from the crown of my head through the core of my being, light. Not the color of my skin, light. Not the mile size of my frame, light. Not the people who are family, enemy, or friend, but light. See, light informs the process. Light gives and light gathers. Light leads and light believes. Light enhances the destination. And oh, shadows, they're just a reflective image of light, for which I am not the source, only an humbled carrier. And understand that this is not just about me. These words are for you too. See, you too are light in your own unique way, whether it's intellectual or creative consciousness or unbiased rebellion, you are light. You are light. Shine courageously. Allow your wounds to evolve into scars that beam and say with pride you fought the battle and am yet alive, which makes you always a winner. You are light. Let flashes of healing strike death like lightning from your crucifying experiences and cause a mass resurrection of revival and rebirth. You are light. Boldly brighten every footstep so that the tracks you leave behind are glimmer messages that let people know that life is to be lived, not merely existed through. You are light, an unquenchable flame. Too strong to be put out. You cannot be put out. You will not be put out. You are light. You radiate. You glow. You burn out loud, on purpose, for a reason, outspoken, ingenious. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Whoa, this little light. Wait a minute. This little light, there's nothing about mine or yours that's little, not because of us, but because the source is from a higher place. This light, this energy, this luminous electromagnetic field that draws likes, dislikes, snickers, stares, Jolly Ranchers, helpers, and haters. This light is magnanimous. It's huge-mongous, in the words of my 3 nieces, Royal, Harmony, and Haven. See, this light pulls. This light pulls love from hate. This light pulls hope from despair. This light pulls embrace from rejection. This light pulls strength from the very pit of weakness. It's an oxymoronic juxtaposition of time, space, and being. It was, it has to be, it will be for you, for me, for us, for them, this light. So there's never a need to be afraid of the dark. Just be who you are.
She's walking by, she'll be, don't do it. You know me better than that. I have to. Real quick, how many people have went on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter and used the hashtag DTC Talks? Anybody? Nobody? You should all be ashamed of yourselves. I would individually point and shame, but that would take too long. It's a universal shame. Please, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I mean, if I have to, I'll grab my phone and we can take an I'll turn around and do like Ellen, and I'll put on DTC Talks, but I think you all should. I think I saw one young lady, she has her cell phone in her hand. Hi, how you doing? My name's Tony. You gonna go on Instagram? You gonna put on the hashtag DTC Talks? You texting somebody? Still gonna come on down, still got more performers left. Little smiley face with it. Ladies and gentlemen, our next performer, Latifa Ali. She can sing, rap, and write poetry. She's been writing poetry since she was 10 years old. After deciding to showcase her talent, she has been performing regularly around Atlanta's hot spots. A quote from Latifa: "I perform because there are few young African American women that are not conforming to society's expectations. I want to prove that you can be yourself and still get support." Please give Latifa a round of applause.
I'm a lady. I try to speak softly when I talk. I respect myself. I have a little grace with my walk. I try to be kind to others. Do I need to start over? I'm a lady. I try to speak softly when I talk. I respect myself. I have a little grace with my walk. I try to be kind to others. I try to use those things I'm taught. I like to be comforted, and I appreciate the gifts I'm bought. You see, I like long conversations, but I don't really like telling tales. I want the protection of a man because I don't really like breaking nails. See, I'm a lady, but I'm starting to think that you don't really know me. Because for some strange reason, you got me twisted, homie. See, I don't tolerate disrespect, and I know how to break a neck, and I'd rather that you pay, but I know how to write a check, and don't let my small frame fool you. I will fight to my death because I fear Allah alone, and only He can take my breath to stop the beating in my chest to give me cardiac arrest. So if you were part of my grade, it'd be the free question on the test. And I wouldn't have to study you. I could get it right if I took a guess. And you might even believe that you're the best of the best, but the truth of the matter is all you spitting is that mess. See, I understand that you're stronger, but that doesn't mean that I'm weak. My brain is riding on a full tank and you riding on a slow leak. You could never reach my level. So let me give you a sneak peek, let you taste the lyrical treat so you can go home and let your family tell you that your breath smells like defeat. See, I'm a lady. But please don't get me confused with the rest of them, because I can get down with the best of them, and I don't even mind testing them. And I'll remind you if I think you forgot that you will never ever take my spot, because I'm a lady, even when you think that I'm not. And this is why I'm hot. So that's my introduction. How y'all doing tonight? So I came out here from Atlanta. I'm from California. I'm from Los Angeles, big bad Los Angeles, but I live in hot Atlanta. How about that? So I wrote this poem. I'm gonna do 2 more poems. This poem, the first poem is what I have experienced, and the next poem is what I have yet to experience. So the first poem is called My 9/11 Story. I have a different 9/11 story. Brace yourself. Because this country is in desperate need of help, and I don't want you to hear these words. I want them to be felt. You see, it all started when a powerful man decided that he wanted to pump some lies into the minds of the misguided, so he knocked some towers down, caused the deaths of thousands in a town, and blames it all on somebody that nobody can find now, and people in society were brainwashed to support clowns. It's absurd, and I'm speaking the truth when I say these words, so please don't believe all of the lies you've heard. It's not in a Muslim's nature to be silent, and Islam means peace, so how can it promote violence? Men were arrested and tortured just because they had long beards, and anybody who looked foreign was harassed and feared. Women scared to wear their scarves outside because of the anger people speared, but they took it a step further. I saw this woman screaming for help because there was a man trying to hurt her. While she was standing on the corner, he tried to run her over, and this wasn't a scare tactic. It was attempted murder. Police ran into a man's house, beat him down in front of his kids, and after their blows stopped, reality hit him. Democracy was never his. He was humiliated. His freedom culminated all because he was thought to be a terrorist affiliated. But who's the real terrorist here? Because terror is a state of intense fear, and it's usually invoked by what you see or what you hear, and it's one that advocates the way you behave, a different form of being enslaved. So do me a favor. Think about the rulers of America, and how can we be saved? If your family was receiving threats, you will pull your weapons out too. And if a man doesn't fear death, what makes you think he'll fear you? Especially if the ones who are supposed to protect and serve you. See, when I travel, I pay this fee to be 9/11 protected. But my last name was Muhammad, so let me tell you how I'm affected. As security, they tell me I've been randomly selected. So I have to step to the side so I can be personally metal detected, and then I hear these words, "Miss, you must remove your scarf." So now it's me versus security. Let's see who has the most heart, because I replied, should I take my clothes off too? Because like my skirt and my shirt, my scarf will not be removed. And my position will forever be unmoved, and it's about to be some real problems, because I don't know what you're trying to prove. So they called for backup. They called their whole crew. "Miss, if you don't allow us to see your hair, we can't allow you to pass through." So I missed my plane 7 times. And if I could press rewind, I missed it 100 times, because if they thought I was taking my scarf off for them, they have clearly lost their minds. And one day I was at the gas station. You won't believe what this white boy said. He looked me in my face and he called me a raghead. And I didn't want to hurt him. I just wanted to make sure that him and his friends would never disrespect another Muslim again. So he apologized when he got up from off his back. But it was too late for that. You see, he knew that I was Muslim. I guess he forgot that I was black. Y'all ready? So, when I was invited here, I have been working on a poem for a very long time. I couldn't finish it. It's extremely hard for me. It was extremely hard for me to finish and extremely hard for me to even practice, right? So I'm performing it for the first time. I have the words just in case I, get choked up or something. So y'all bear with me. Y'all ready? Yeah. Y'all listening? Yeah. Okay. I have a son. He's 4 years old now. He's handsome and intellectual. He'll melt you with his smile. They say he'll be a heartbreaker, a charmer, a breathtaker. He's such a sweet kid, a mama's boy for sure. My firstborn, my only son, his heart is so pure. When I drop him off and leave him anywhere, he requires a kiss and a hug. But it won't be long, not long at all. Before someone labels him a thug, I have a black son. He'll be a teenager one day. And I feel like no matter how we raise him, no matter what we say, his presence will make someone nervous. His existence will pose a threat. The cops will be called on him for a crime he didn't commit. If he's anything like me, he won't shut his mouth. If he's anything like his father, he won't shut his mouth, no doubt. There's a funny thing about innocence.
They don't like, there's a funny thing about the innocent. They don't like being called guilty. But when we live in a world where if you're a black male, you certainly will be. So we have to teach him now about the preservation of his life. He has to understand that when they're wrong, he'll have to prove that he's right. But in the meantime, what do? How can I protect him from all of you? I can't let him play in parks. I'll be too scared to let him walk home. He won't be allowed to go to corner stores or step foot into Walmart alone. But I can't keep him sheltered. So what in the world do I tell him? Don't make sudden moves. Don't put your hands up. Keep your hands out of your pockets. Don't lay down. Don't stand up. Don't talk back, but answer questions. You can't fight or keep them guessing. Don't run. Don't walk. Don't turn. Don't talk. Don't look away. Don't look down. Just speak softly. It'll be okay. Say the prayer I taught you over and over in your head. Just let them shoot. Just play dead. Maybe someone will be recording. There has to be cameras somewhere. Maybe there will be an eyewitness to tell the truth and won't be scared. I have a black son. How do I start? Where does it end? I have to tell them, son, you can't play with your friends. Or drive a car, or get on a train. Because if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, they can shoot you in the back or blow out your brains. I have a black son. And he could be killed at 12, 18, 21, or right now. Or next week, or when I'm gone. And I don't know how. Maybe he'll survive it all. Maybe things will be different soon. Maybe I'll never see in loving memory on his tomb. Maybe this is all in my head. Maybe, just maybe. But he's my only son. So please tell them, don't kill my baby.
One more round of applause for Ms. Tutu. Our next performer, Caroline Rothstein, is a New York City-based spoken word poet, journalist, body empowerment advocate, and arts educator. She performs, speaks, and facilitates workshops at colleges, schools, and organizations nationwide, and hosts a widely viewed YouTube series entitled Body Empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a round of applause.
So the arts educator in me that facilitates workshops and cares deeply about creating safer spaces, because there's no such thing as a safe space, because we are all subject to not having our strongest moments. So I'm going to change my set to honor the poem we just heard and start with what was going to be my second poem to continue this dialogue. So, So I'm a white Jewish female, and when I was in college in Philadelphia, I started unpacking what privilege meant and understanding the intersections of when we can be both oppressed and have spaces of privilege, or what parts of our identity are marginalized or told they're not worthy, and what parts of our identity have privilege. And as a white Jew right now in 2015 in America, it's a little complicated because anti-Semitism is inflamed quite heavily in Europe, and yet black men are being murdered by police more than we realize, and trans folks are being killed more than we realize. And so I'm constantly aware of my white privilege. So I wrote this poem many years ago, and it feels important to share it now. My fingers dipped in pixie dust the moment I was born. And even though my parents infiltrated my soul with a belief in equality, and even though I'm ethnically baptized in Judaism, I bear an altered version of Midas. Everything I touch is white. And I can wear Birkenstocks and jump left foot with every game of political hopscotch. I can plaster my backpack with buttons and patches to color my skin. I can teach for America with my intellectual feminist kin, but I'm slowly becoming the problem with racism. I once rode the subway past my 40th and Market stop in West Philadelphia just to see. And I felt like I was riding the monorail in Disneyland, penetrating society with the ideals I claimed to speak against. I spent too many years in suppression, pretending I had nothing to do with oppression. But no matter how many racial profiling incidents I protest, I'm still a product of dominating manipulation and superiority inflation. So I'm unlocking the door to the enemy from within, to let the aversive racist layer match the color embroidered on my skin. See, this is what they teach you in activist school. Perform corrective and cosmetic surgery on any racism by covering it up with white liberal euphemisms. Don't notice that she's Latina. Don't notice that there are so many East Asians studying the library on Friday. And don't notice that the car passing me at 2 a.m. is filled with black men. And don't notice that every other poem I hear from a white liberal female is about how she tutors some poor black child and never expected that he'd teach her anything worthwhile. And don't notice that we too own the oppression that we claim to be above. And I keep thinking about race as I write this poem. I keep thinking about race everywhere I go as some incarcerated racism that tries to penetrate my soul, vacillates to my exterior to taint my tone. And I want to use metaphors like shackles and chains. I want to use metaphors like blood-stained shame, but those aren't metaphors that I'm allowed to own. So I'm trying to surrender my own linguistic reign. I'm trying to remember what I learned from where I came, but I keep thinking about race, I keep thinking about race, I keep placing myself like MLK as a pedestal of egalitarianism when instead I keep becoming the Caesar of imperialism. I'd be lying if I said the internal antagonism isn't painful. I'd be lying if I said that white guilt and privilege isn't a complicated handful, but I'd be lying if I said I was perfectly honorable. I'm gonna have to let the whiteness surface to permeate my skin, to just accept the racism that's hidden deep within. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to share 2 more poems with you this evening. This next poem, one of the things I think is so incredible about religion and faith is that it is a language we each have an opportunity with which to speak to the universe. And we all speak to the universe or God or whatever it is to be mortal differently, and whatever it is to understand immortality differently. And for me, I was born Jewish, and I also feel like I choose to continue to be Jewish because it's a language that works for me. And one of the reasons it works for me is because it has informed my activism and my desire for social justice and change. And also, I feel like there's a saying that Jews do death and weddings really well. And so I really dig how we do death, which is a really awful thing to have to cope with. But when it's happened to me all too many times in my life, I've been grateful that it's the language I have in my family and community to cope. So 13 years ago, my brother was hit by a car and killed. This poem is not just about him, it's about all of us, all of our lives, all of the lives that we have to be. We have so much work to do. It's a beautiful world, and it is also a world that is afraid of itself. So he just bought a pair of shoes. $100 sneakers, shopping bag clad right hand. He walks down Central Street in Highland Park, Illinois, a brand name sidewalk with affluent stores. He knocks on the pharmacy door window for a bag of pretzels and a Gatorade, but they wave him away. It's 4 p.m. on a Sunday, and they're closing up shop. A senior at his high school pulls an illegal U-turn. An elderly man stops short to avoid collision, skids onto the curb, and throws my brother into the side of a store building. His head cracks open, his eyes close shut, and his sneakers fling into the air as his spleen develops cuts. They do brain surgery, put him on respirators. Rabbi Mason prays by his ICU bedside, but he never wakes up. I'm crouched over his bedside, begging him, yelling at him, "Josh, wake up, Josh, please wake up." He was only shoe shopping.
Walking side by side teenage girls that purchase emaciation on a hanger, which is really just a metaphor for shirts sewn in sweatshops by starving children. And studies say that executing killers costs more than keeping them in prison for the rest of their lives, and funeral prices are on the rise. Cremation packages start at $2,000, the average casket is $6,000, $28 a month to purchase an orphan on the internet. $13 for a Japanese picture bride to weed the fields and strip sugarcane. Not too much for a mail order bride. Choose her body shape, her nationality, and human pedigree. And since this is an unregulated business, I don't have fancy statistics to insert here about how many women are bought by strangers yearly, as you get a price check in aisle 5 to bargain lives that further judge when they die. My family goes to trial so the killers can pay for our loss in insurance. There's no way to judge, but the judge sits there asking me, how much was his life worth? My 15-year-old brother had $25,000 in savings for selling Beanie Babies at 100 times their cost on an eBay auction block, $650 to purchase an African teen on a southern auction block. How much is a life worth? We purchase human beings from fruitless trees. We consume material and will them to our offspring. We hang child labor on mannequins. We dangle death next to cash registers. We kill children in storefront windows and judge their worth in finances. Even though the only bank in heaven is a locked vault of karma. The only currency in heaven is a set of intangible beliefs. The only worth in heaven can't always be proven. How much is a life worth? He was 15 years old, walking happy on a sidewalk. He was 15 years old, shackled, standing on an auction block. He was 15 years old, starving, sewing in a sweatshop. How much is a life worth? Josh, wake up, Josh. Please wake up. How much is your life worth? It's worth waking up daily to face the misery of death's reality. It's worth becoming straight edge to never miss a single moment of sobriety. It's worth my living breath to overcome death. Josh, you are what my life's worth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here today. Thank you to the Desmond Tutu Center. Thank you to these incredible artists. I'm so inspired to be amongst you all. I wrote a piece for today, and I don't know, I've never shared it like this, like memorized like I did on the plane today. So we're gonna see how it goes. When I knew I was coming to Indiana, I was super hyped, and then a few weeks later, it seemed like Indiana was all over the media based on the recent legislation that allegedly has been reformed. We shall see. So I care very deeply about supporting the LGBT community. And a few months ago, I read an article by a transgender Jewish professor in New York who wrote about looking at Torah through an LGBT lens and considering God as queer. And it changed my life and totally liberated my language. And so this is my new piece. My God is a queer God. My God is a queer God, is a queer space, is a safer space, is in allyship with the universe because my God is self-reflexive and my God knows that it is not always a safe space for everyone at every moment. So my God knows that it may be an ally to one entity and a trigger to another. So my God is working in solidarity with everything all at once, and that capacity does not fit inside a bodied box. My God is outside the outside of a timeless clock. My God is indefatigable. My God is intersectional. My God is awake and alert and stays woke because it once created the universe and still encompasses the earth. My God knows that it is not always seen as a God, that not everyone blesses how it transforms day into night and back and sometimes forward. And my God knows that it is questioned and doubted and questioned and shamed and pushed back and called out and called in again. My God rocks with transformative justice. My God knows that restoration doesn't do enough in dismantling injustice. My God knows the difference between prefix and suffix because my God invented Latin and language and knows that even language has repercussions, and even language is transgressive, and even language is transgressive, and even language doesn't properly contain substance because there is no way to properly contain and concretize linguistic justice with substance. So my God is transcending and transubstantiating substance. My God is nameless. Thou shalt not speak my God's name in vain and speak my God's name to be anything other than other without any name because my God is a holy, 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 intangible, amorphous entity of limitless possibility, infinity, tranquility. My God is a queer God, and my God is eternity. Thank you so much.
Give Caroline one more round of applause. Side note, it'd be like awesome to see like Ned Flanders' reaction to that poem. It'd be super cool. You have to make that happen. Okay, real quick, show of hands. Who's been hashtagging TTC Talks? One person. Two? We got two, we got three, we got three, we got do we have four? Do we have four? Do we have three? Three, going once, going twice. Shame. 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 Ma'am, I see you're on your phone. Are you hashtagging DTC Talks? Have you been to www.desmondtutucenter.org? I think you should. Have you signed up for a newsletter? Yes. They're right outside. You can get a form right outside. We can take care of this for you. Tell your friends. You're the worst salesman ever. Awkward. All right. Our next performer, Dania Nognog, is a student at UIC Chicago who describes herself as a mixed culture first generation mutt. I cannot make this up. Though she was born and bred in the city of Chicago, her heart will forever belong to the streets of Damascus. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a round of applause.
There we go. Hi, everyone. Like he said, my name is Dania. I'm Syrian American, first generation. And I'm here today to kind of open myself up to you. I think that I need to share my pain so that you guys feel comfortable with your pain. And both of these poems actually were written today in the car on the way here. So if I forget them, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna give this my best shot. I am the girl on fire with the flammable heart and the smoke alarm scream. I leave behind fourth-degree burns invisible to the naked eye. I am a safety hazard to everyone around me. That's why I sleep with a fire extinguisher and my keys under my bed, so I'm always ready to run, ready to burn rubber, to get so lost that I am found, ready to leave the house I left burning in the background. Nothing to prove I was even there, but my imprints on the bedsheet and my back door left unshut. I am the girl on fire. There are ashes in my hair I will never be able to shake, a constant reminder of the phoenix that lives under the mess that I made. I am the girl on fire. Hurricanes are named after people, but forest fires are left nameless. I used to question it, but I finally understand why. Maybe it's better that way. Maybe we're best forgotten. So here's my next piece. We have a lot of different faiths in the room today. And I have one story that really resides with me. It's in the Torah, it's in the Bible, it's in the Quran. I am Muslim. And it's the story of Noah. And I love the story of Noah. It's about second chances. You know, I think that we all have a right to really mess things up because all of humanity messed things up so bad that God had to send a flood. I was telling my parents in the car today, I call dibs on the name Noah out of all my siblings. So this poem is about that child that I will hope to have one day. I want to name my first son Noah, so he always knows there's such a thing as second chances. He will be born with the taste of raindrops on his tongue and calluses on his hands. I will tell him the great story of destiny and desolation, of wretchedness and purification. I will tell him the story of how God made sure that there are two types of every soul on a boat. on an ark, and how each one of them had nothing with them but their faith. He will be born knowing that there is such a thing as miracles, but you just need to see them in the right kind of light. He will know that the most important things in life is to remember to never miss the boat, always bring an umbrella, and do not forget the unicorns. Millenniums ago, God saw wretchedness in the heart of humanity, but he found hope in one man, and he commanded upon him to do, and that he did. That he did. Dear Noah, please remember that elephants and ants arrived on dry land at the same time. Remember that this is our second chance to get it right. Noah, my son, please do not forget that people say that some get wet in the rain and others, or some feel the rain and others just get wet. My son, do not be afraid to dance in the storm. You are a child of clay and soul, of second and third and fourth chances. You are a child of God and love and hope. You are my child. You are the child of the great flood. Do not forget. Thank you so much. Thank you for the chance to perform with these great people. And I hope you guys all have a good night.
Give it up for Donnie one more time. One more time. One more time. Did anybody else like picture a unicorn running for the boat like somebody missing the indigo? Tell them to slow down. Awkward. Was it unicorns, dragons, ogres, anything else? What else? Any other animal like mythical minotaurs? Been awkward. Go to a petting zoo, see a dragon. What was it? Minions? The yellow things. All right. Our next performer, Julius Ali Mansa, is a local businessman and young leader in the Indianapolis Muslim community. Mansa has stated that spoken word is an outlet for the passions, thoughts, and hearts of poets to be expressed and painted resplendently with words. Mansa spoke words and centered largely. Mansa spoken word is centered largely around religious and socio-political themes. Ladies and gentlemen, please give this gentleman a round of applause.
I'm kind of short, so bear with me here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله السلام عليكم. May the peace and blessings of God be upon all of you. My name is Jay Ali Mansa. I'm a native of Indianapolis, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Currently a finance and management consultant here in Indianapolis and part-time finance graduate student and even super part-time spoken word artist. I am these people, these artists here. I mean, I'm really inspired. I mean, I've seen some things that really inspired me to go back home and if I could leave here and make up something even better, but alhamdulillah, I've been blessed to get the opportunity to come up here and share some of my thoughts with you all. So without further ado, I'll give a little bit of me to a little bit of you. Heavenly illusions, heaven we crave. Material things, women, men, sex, money, honey, even certain types of success, I call that the heavenly grave. Things that we love, desire, and want, things that take us away from our heavenly goals, things that we love, hunt, and flaunt, things that take a little piece of our seemingly heavenly souls. So I say, pave the way for the heaven seekers, for they have come long and far. I say, pave the way for the heaven seekers, for they seek to blend in with the stars. You see what I did right there? But you know what? It is really not heaven that they seek. It's merely a bleak outlook of an ugly perception from an even more uglier peak. It's a fallacious view of a world not tried or true. It's a dangerous inclination to elevate pleasure and obtuse sensation. So again, I say, pave the way for the heaven seekers. If not, they will definitely trample me and you. So again, pave the way for the heaven seekers. Because guess what? Some already paved the way for you, you heaven seekers. Religion, religion, religion. Ooh. Religion, religion, where art thou? On the Bible on my shelf? Yeah, I see you now. Religion, religion, where art thou? On the mosque, at the corner where the Muslim takes a vow? Religion, religion, where art thou? In the mouth of the pastor who sometimes just screams and shouts? Religion, religion, tell me exactly, where can you be? At the heart of many wars, death, and destruction? No, this cannot be. Religion, religion, tell me exactly, where do you lie? In the hearts of starving children, the ones in Pakistan that had to die? Religion, religion, tell me exactly, where do you stay? On the beautiful continent of Africa, where the pregnant women are slayed? Religion, religion, please tell me exactly, where do you live? At the apartment down the hall where the father rapes his kids? Religion, religion, please take a stand, because you've done a marvelous job of convincing us to cut off our hands. Religion, religion, what exactly do you claim to be? Are you God, Allah, Krishna, Vishnu, or that Buddha meditating under a tree? Religion, religion, please show yourself soon, because the religion I see guiding us leads us slowly to our doom. Religion, religion. But hold up. Religion, religion, I came looking for you again. I saw a kid blow himself up for God, but shit, he was only 10. Religion, religion, how could you let these things unfold? Is it because we don't really truly understand our many religious codes? Religion, religion, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. So many paths, so many ways. Your true nature is starting to become a little bit too blurred. Religious interpretation or religious lies, know the most religious information, they say you'll get your religious prize. And what's that? Salvation, heaven, eternal youth, love, happiness, eternal truth, wisdom, knowledge, eternal hope, wisdom, knowledge, eternal hope, enlightenment, nirvana, eternal ghost. Religious interpretation or religious lies, please give us an answer soon and we'll be sure to wake up when you arrive. Religion, religion. So this last piece, it's specifically tailored to the Muslim community, not just here, not just the Ummah in Indianapolis, but the worldwide Muslim Ummah, and the perceptions of it, and the issues that Muslims are dealing with, and the issues that non-Muslims are dealing with Muslims, if that makes sense. So again, the piece is called The Solution, a really good piece, and again, I've tailored it to Islam, and I really love it. It's one of my favorite pieces, alhamdulillah. Political infestations, community destroyed, Islamic misinformation, you and me, overly annoyed. No Muslim leaders, no Muslim plan, no Muslim consensus, no strong Muslim hand. Ahmed can't read Quran, and Amina, she can't even write. The Islamic scholars can't come together, and the radicals, they just want to fight. So how did we fall from glory? How did we miss our mark? Some say it's when the Khawarij killed Khalifa Ali. Yeah, maybe that's when the fitna, the problem was sparked. Women's rights eliminated, men's rights elevated. Pious communities totally dismantled and completely obliterated. We see it. Children's rights circumnavigated, and the wife's rights, totally unappreciated. Daily media coverage is where anti-Islamic stories are completely and totally disseminated. So what do we do? What can we do? What shall we do? We must rebuild our communities, diffuse the strife, resurrect thoughts of Allah, and infuse new life. Rewater our gardens, reshingle our roofs, relearn the Quran and re-inject old truths. Take strong Muslim women with strong Muslim Take strong Muslim women with strong Muslim men, breed stronger, intelligent Muslim children, and create the indivisible Muslim hand. You see, this is not an uprising. This is not a revolution. This is not even an opinion. This is simply the solution. Thank you.
You guys give Brother Julius one more round of applause. This man claims he's a part-time poet. Not only were his poems amazing, but he mastered an art that I've yet to master myself. This man got several pieces in under 10 minutes. I'd be in my bedroom thinking, man, I only got 10, 15 minutes on stage. I can do this one, and I can do that one, and I can breathe, and that's my time. That's about it. This man snuck like a whole book in there. That was excellent, sir. Excellent. Our next performer, Reverend Callie Smith, is an ordained minister in the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, who believes art and faith can bring meaning to each other. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a round of applause.
Good evening and peace be with you. I've brought just one piece tonight. It has some autobiography to it, and it's called Nothing. Sometimes we are a surprise. We don't always expect us. We're not always ready for the one-of-a-kind, unique, never-before-seen selves that we most mysteriously are. We are unique. We are out of sync. We're not in with the going thing around us if we are at all truly being us. We turn out to have been made as not at all what might be expected. And this is beautiful, and this is gorgeous, and this is hard. It is hard to be unexpected and still offer yourself. Now, I did not expect to be a preacher, but I started thinking about being a preacher, and it was something that I loved to do. I wanted to speak. And yes, I am shy and quiet sometimes, but I wanted to speak. And yes, I am a woman, but I felt called to offer myself to the church as a preacher. And yes, some Christians do have clergy women, but no, we are not the gold standard male kind. We are not what you would expect. I was not what my family expected. And isn't it hard to be unexpected? You want to offer yourself, but it can hurt when you do that. When I first started thinking about being a preacher, I used to love to read about Jarena Lee. Jarena Lee was a black woman in the 19th century. She was a widow. She was a mother left with 2 children. This woman's life was already not at all what she would have expected. And yet on top of that, she had this growing sense of call about who she was to be. She was unique, she was out of sync, she was Christian, and she went to her church and offered herself as a preacher. And the faith leaders that she admired most told her she must be wrong. She could not be called like that. And of course she felt hurt. Of course she felt rejected. Of course she wondered how she would go on and if she even could give life to that rejected thing inside of her. And so the amazing thing to me is that she did go on. And she went on by preaching anyway. She went wherever she had to go, wherever she would be allowed to speak, and she spoke in houses and schoolhouses, in prayer meetings and public meetings. She spoke in free states and in slave states, and she explained what she was doing by telling them, nothing is impossible with God. And oh my goodness, did she have to preach if that was the word she had to say. Nothing is impossible with God. And I noticed that her unexpected life was speaking to me like few others were, because she reminded me that this world does not have to be the way I expect it to be. In our fear and in our doubt, in our hurt that maybe life just is the way it is, it's the unexpected lives that can remind us nothing is impossible. So I've learned that when women preach and when the quiet ones speak, they remind me that nothing is impossible. When Tarina Lee preached to whomever would hear her preach, and women came and men came and black came and white came, she showed them that nothing is impossible. When selves out of sync do that unexpected thing they do, they are signs. Nothing is impossible. And so I want to know about you. What is that unexpected thing you are given to do? When surprising, unique, gorgeous you do that next thing you do, you are a sign. Nothing is impossible.
Give Miss Reverend Smith another round of applause. One time for the one time. So, show of hands. Who's used the hashtag? All right, we got one more. Hey, Dre, no last time. That gentleman, nice little head nod. Appreciate that. He's been to several auctions. Just quick bid. Side note. Outside, there is a sign-up list in case you guys want to know more about the DTC events or you just want to be signed up for the newsletter. Again, make sure that you visit www.desmondtutucenter.org, desmondtutucenter.org. And on Facebook, it is Desmond Tutu Center. It is all one word, and the hashtag again is DTC Talks. Our last performer of the evening, Miss Teresa Webb, is excuse me if I butcher this, I've been trying all night to try to make sure I say it right. Anishinaabe Kwe. Yes! She writes poetry and tells stories to promote Native American culture and spirituality. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for your last performer of the evening, Miss Teresa Webb.
Ani. Bonjour. Teresa Najitaka spod what me ode all get she da quay inishina back. McGeezy and Dodom. Inishina. Inishina. How are ya? I say, hello. Greetings to you in the highest of respect. They call me by the name of Teresa, but who I really am is Potawatomi Ottawa, woman warrior of the Anishinaabe Nation. I am Eagle Clan. And then I say, Anishina, how are you? So, I've heard some good things tonight. I am a storyteller. I'm a tribal storyteller. I work locally here at the Idle George Museum. But I come from Manistee, Michigan, little river band of Odawa Indians. Yoo-hoo. And I get to tell stories to our people. Being an Eagle Clan member, we are the ones who take the orphans under our wing whom we teach. We carry the traditions of our people. And the traditions of our people, they help us to move forward. You see, our people, way back, were driven off our land. Our land was taken from us. Our children were taken from us. They were placed in boarding schools where they were beat, abused, starved, but most of all, robbed of who they were. Our culture, our language, taken from us. So we try to think happy. We try to move clockwise and always think of going forward and not backward. Not in the past. And not staying there in all the woundedness. The song I shared with you, strong woman, warrior song. My mommy, she used to sing it to me every morning. She would get me up, clean our face, me and my little brother. And we would go down and work in the field. We picked tomatoes. I didn't really have a name back then. My name was Pocahontas, or tomato picker. It wasn't Teresa or Terry. That was the name the kids called me. But we worked in the field every day. And before we went, she would sing that song. Baby girl, I want you to be strong today. And she would sing that song to me. Until one day, she sang that song to me, and I went to school. When I went to school that day, the teacher says, oh, I'm going to do art. I was so happy. I loved doing my art. I had really long braids then. I tend to flip them behind my shoulder a lot. I was only 8 years old. I didn't think it was cute. They just got in my way, right? The class clown, he sat behind me. I flipped my braid that day. And the whole class, they started laughing. I didn't know what was funny, so I look around to the right, then I look around to the left, and then I look all the way around. Then I look to the front, and I see the teacher, and the teacher's looking over the classroom to see what's so funny. She herself didn't see the joke. I turn around to look at the boy behind me. I saw what the joke was then. There was my braid laying on his desk, where he had taken his round-tipped safety scissors and cut my braid off. So you see, I've seen some hardships. Being a Native American woman, Native American child, growing up, being called names. But I'm a traditional teacher with our people, and I try to teach our people to think positive, to move forward, to not stay there. So I have a couple poems I want to share with you. And they're poems of hope, how to get out of that place, how to be encouraged when all around us we see despair. We have to be worried about our children. I have 7 children. I have 17 foster children. Mommies worry about their children. But you know what? There's a way not to be so worried about your children all the time. A way that you can look beyond the ways of the world by seeking out the ones the Creator has given us. mounted high on eagle's wings, soaring up above the sky. I love to worship and to sing, and praise God I can fly. Because when things look bleak and there's no hope in sight, that's when I must take flight to soar above my stirred up nest. Oh, how those wings, they bring me rest. Eagle's wings on high, I soar, trusting, seeking more, more, more. I'm an overcomer, and I've been saved by grace. When my enemy tries to influence me, I get right in his face, because I've had my share of trials and errors, and sometimes death seems so near. But I am strong, and I am free, and I won't give in to fear. A survivor? Yes, I am that too. Although times have been tough, through all my pain, my sorrow, my tears, Creator held me up, because without him, I am nothing. I have no power in this skin, but because of his love that he gives to me, I'm victorious, and I can win, because I'm an overcomer, and I've been saved by grace, and by his love, his strength, and his power, I'm going to run this race. Oh.
Keep that round of applause going for Teresa one more time. Yeah. Hashtag DTC Talks. Anybody? Nobody? You feel we'll go home with shame? Word. Just joking, completely joking. No, but seriously, when you get home tonight, let everybody know what you did today or this evening. Let them know with a hashtag DTC Talks. All right, DTC Talks. Again, outside is the newsletter. You can sign up for the newsletter. My apologies. The website, www.desmondtutucenter.org. Tongue-tied today. Again, we want to thank everyone who came out in attendance, everyone who's helped put this event together, from the hardworking staff to the facilitators as well, to all of the performers. Give them another round of applause, please. You guys were amazing. Before we go, we would like to leave you with a video by a spoken word artist that goes by the name of Prince EA. The video is entitled, Why I Think the World Should End. Do not forget, once again, that outside those doors, you can sign up for the DTC events in the lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, please be safe getting home. Thank you, and good night.
The world is coming to an end. The air is polluted, the oceans contaminated. The animals are going extinct, the economy's collapsed. Education is shot, police are corrupt. Intelligence is shunned and ignorance rewarded. The people are depressed and angry. We can't live with each other and we can't within you.